We all know the story of the Lion King, a timeless tale of family, betrayal, and destiny. We've shed tears for Mufasa, cheered for Simba, and despised the villainous Scar. But what if the story we know is only half the picture? What if the seeds of Scar's treachery were planted long before he was born, watered by the tears and rage of his own mother? Today, we redive in deep into one of the most compelling and tragic fan theories in the entire Disney universe. The story of Uru, the forgotten queen, and her fury against Mufasa. To understand this theory, we have to go back to the source material that inspired The Lion King. Disney's own book series, The Lion King, 6 New Adventures, gives us a glimpse into the family tree. It reveals that Mufasa and Scar's father was King Ahadi. But who was their mother? The book's name, Haru. And that's where the official story ends, and the fan theories begin, weaving a narrative so powerful it feels like it could be canon. So, who was Uru? According to the most popular theories, Uru wasn't just any lioness. She was the formidable leader of her own pride, the Ndona Pride, a group known for their strength and resilience. She was a queen in her own right before she ever met Ahadi. Their union wasn't just a romance, it was a political alliance, a merger of 2 powerful prides to strengthen the kingdom and secure the future of the Pride Lands. This makes Uru a figure of immense power and importance, not just a king's consort. Ahadi and Uru had 2 sons. The firstborn was Mufasa, golden-furred, strong, and every bit the heir his father envisioned. He was the son, bright and celebrated. Then came their second son, Taka. Unlike his brother, Taka was smaller, darker, and bore a striking resemblance to his mother, Uru. From the very beginning, the differences between the 2 brothers were stark, and King Ahadi, it is said, showed a clear preference for his golden son. Mufasa, this is where the tragedy starts to unfold. The theory suggests that Ahadi, obsessed with a strong, traditional heir, began to neglect and sidelion Taka. He saw Mufasa as the future, and Taka as little more than a spare. An afterthought, every achievement of Mufasa was praised, while Taka's own strengths were overlooked. Imagine being a child constantly living in the shadow of your perfect older brother, with a father who barely acknowledges your existence. This constant neglect would fester, turning into resentment and a desperate need for validation. But where was Uru in all of this? She saw what was happening. She saw her younger son, the one who looked just like her, being emotionally cast aside by his own father. She tried to intervene, to remind Ahadi that both their sons were precious. But Ahadi, stubborn and set in his ways, wouldn't listen. Uru found herself caught in an impossible position, trying to protect Taka's spirit while maintaining the peace of the kingdom and her marriage. She would shower Taka with the love and attention his father denied him, nurturing his intelligence and cunning, the very traits that would later define him as Scar. Now, let's talk about the name. Taka in Swahili means dirt or trash. It's a cruel name for a prince, or perhaps it was a nickname given by others that stuck. Either way, it was a constant, painful reminder of his perceived worthlessness in his father's eyes. The breaking point, the moment that sealed Taka's dark fate, was the incident that gave him his scar. One popular version says Taka, tired of being called weak, was goaded by a trio of hyenas into trying to provoke a Cape buffalo. He believed that if he could face down the buffalo, his father would finally see his strength. But the plan went horribly wrong. The buffalo, enraged, charged, and struck Taka, leaving a deep, permanent gash over his eye. Mufasa, who had followed his brother, arrived just in time to save him. He was hailed as a hero. But Taka was left with a physical scar and an even deeper emotional one. When King Ahadi saw his injured son, he wasn't filled with fatherly concern. Instead, he was furious. He scolded Taka for his recklessness and foolishness, seeing the incident not as a cry for help, but as another failure. It was in this moment of pain and rejection, with his face bleeding and his father's angry words echoing in his ears, that Taka renounced his name. From that day forward, he would be known only by his mark of shame and defiance, Scar. This is where Uru's fury truly ignites. She had watched her son be neglected, She had seen his spirit cry. Her focus shifted entirely to protecting the son the kingdom had rejected. He represented the injustice that had broken her younger son. Was Mufasa intentionally cruel? Probably not. As a child, he likely enjoyed the attention and didn't fully grasp the damage it was doing to his brother. But in Uru's eyes, Mufasa was a symbol of the system that had failed her family. Uru secretly mentored Scar, whispering that he was just as worthy as his brother, that he too had a right to power. This creates a fascinating and tragic dynamic. Uru's love, twisted by grief and anger, may have inadvertently paved the way for Scar's villainy. In trying to build him up, did she fuel his ambition and paranoia? In validating his anger, did she justify his future betrayal? It paints a picture, not of a simple good versus evil story, but of a complex family tragedy, where love and protection curdle into something much darker. Imagine the tension and pride rock during these years. Uru's fury would have been a quiet, simmering rage, a queen fighting a silent war for her forgotten son. When King Ahadi and Queen Uru eventually passed away, Mufasa ascended the throne, as was his destiny. For Scar, this was the ultimate defeat. The system his mother had raged against had won, and with Uru gone, Scar lost his only protector, his only confidant. He was truly alone, left with nothing but his scar, his sharp mind, and the burning resentment his mother had understood so well. This theory completely reframes Scar's motivations. He's no longer just a one-dimensional villain driven by simple jealousy. It's a twisted act of vengeance against the brother who had everything, a fury he inherited and carried with him his entire life. It's the voice of Taka, the boy who was told he was worthless. When he manipulates Simba, he's using the cunning intellect his mother nurtured in him. And when he finally throws Mufasa from the cliff, it's not just Scar taking the throne. It's the ghost of Queen Uru finally getting a revenge. This theory adds an incredible layer of Shakespearean tragedy to The Lion King. It gives us Uru, the furious queen, a character whose love and pain echo through the generations, ultimately leading to the downfall of the very kingdom she helped build. It doesn't excuse Scar's actions, but it makes them terrifyingly understandable. It reminds us that villains aren't always born. They're often made, forged in the fires of family conflict and injustice. The story of the Lion King is not just Scar's story. It's also the story of his mother's rage. What do you think of this theory? Does it change how you see Scar? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the forgotten Queen Uru. Thanks so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like and subscribe for more untold stories from your favorite movies. See you next time.